morning, everybody. I'm Terri Mattson with Beginning Today Lifestyle Wellness, and there's my contact information. I'm a wellness coach, so I do one-on-one coaching. I go in and I talk to businesses, and we do a series on Site on Businesses. So it's a 12-week series, half hour each week, same day, same time, and just building on one wellness tip next to the other, one small change at a time. I also do presentations like we're going to be doing here today. I do those for corporate, and I also do those in the senior communities. And I also walk alongside of you in your transformation of wellness in your life. So it is a lifelong transformation when we're thinking about how we're going to make those changes in between our ears that's going to help us live a healthier life day to day. So we'll hit on that again towards the end, but if you're looking for a wellness coach, if you're looking for a speaker, please give me a call. You know, I've shared this story with Bob. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. I'd like to do a little bit of background on, you know, when God talks to you and when you're listening and when you're hearing and when you're aware of when that happens. And so it's interesting that, and I think for a lot of us, we get our God speak many different times. And the one that I like to share is the first word I heard was visual. I think God talks to us all the time, and I just don't think I was listening. And there was a time 5 years ago or so, and my sister was very sick, and she was trying to put on weight, and I was trying to lose weight. So we had weekly phone calls, kind of checking in with each other. But apparently I wasn't hearing what she was saying, and I didn't realize just what the depth of her illness was. She has rheumatoid arthritis. So I kept relating everything to that and not really listening, if you will. And then she sent me this picture. In this picture, I saw God saying, Terri, you need to be listening to what's going on. So long story short, I ended up getting a fairly quick flight down to Texas where she lives and flying in to see her. And upon arrival, within 12 hours, I had her in the hospital in the emergency room. She ended up with 3 blood transfusions. She had a lot going on. I was told three times that had she not been there within those 12 hours, she probably wouldn't have made it. So, you know, that really, I think we really need to be listening when God is talking, and sometimes he has to really hit us hard for us to hear it. Now she's fine. She's recovered. It was a long road. It was a long walk, but she's recovered. She's fine. She's still dealing with the arthritis, but anyway, just the different ways that God talks to us. And I was so busy in my life, I wasn't paying the attention to it that I should have. So sometimes a picture says 1,000 words, and it just, wherever it is that you're ready to hear the story. So that's just a little bit of background about me and some of my Christian roads forward. But today we're going to be talking about creating mindset and habits for powerful results in a new season of life and business. With what we're going through right now, we are recreating our wellness. We are creating our wellness in our personal being, in our families, and in the business that we're in. And how are we doing that? What changes are we going to look towards that? And how are we going to get our mindset and our habits in line for that to happen so that we come out of this a whole person? The one thing I think that's pretty obvious for all of us, and as long as you remember this, and I think sometimes, you know, people want to take a screenshot. This is probably a good one and a little mantra that you can have for yourself. And your beliefs become your thoughts become your words become your actions become your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. So it all starts again between the ears and what's going on in there. And when you decide the road that you're going to walk down, and it's pretty powerful when you look at it that way. So what you think is what you become. And yeah, it's a pretty powerful statement once again. But you are what you think. It's just like you are what you eat. So what's rolling around in your head and what you use and put into your brain and your mind and the way of thinking, that determines your actions and how things are going. So we have to set that mindset to make sure that we're going in the right direction and that we're lifting up and building, and with a positive mindset and a strong mindset. And with the trying times that we're going through right now, a strong leader embraces the opportunity to grow. And that needs to be the mindset. This is an opportunity to grow. We're going to go back to that thought again later, but I want you to be thinking about that. With what's all going on, this is the opportunity to grow. What is mindset? According to the dictionary, a fixed mental attitude or disposition that predetermines a person's response to and interpretations of situations. Pretty clear, right? I mean, that's what's in your head. So when you're thinking about starting something new, when you're thinking about your best self and what are you going to do to become better at who you are and what you're doing and what you offer the world and what you offer your family, what attitudes are holding you back? It's not always what we do, but sometimes we hold ourselves back in a belief that we can't do it. We're not good enough. We're not strong enough. So what's holding you back, and how can you change? How can you turn that around so that you can live your best life, live your healthiest life, be the best leader? You know, we're all leaders of our life. We're leaders in our business. And what attitude is keeping us from continually putting that foot forward to just grow and be our best self? Because that's what affects everything else. So what if you knew that anything was possible? You could succeed at anything. Everything you did was golden. Sky's the limit. No worries, nothing, no fears. Everything is going to work for you. What if you walk through life like that, believing that everything is possible, that you can do anything you want to do, live healthier, try something new? You know, what if you put that mindset to yourself? The sky's the limit. There are no barriers. Run forward. Well, how freeing, right? Yeah. And, it's just, again, the way we look at things and the way we look at the picture. And so many of us, instead of thinking about the sky's the limit and we can just go forward and we can be who we want to be, we start putting up the roadblocks. This isn't going to work because of this. This isn't going to work because of that. Whether it's in your health, well, I just can't change the way I eat because it's just the way I've always eaten. That's who I am. I just can't get beyond this level in my position. I've always been this person in this position. It's just who I am. Well, what if you took all that aside and said, you know what? Today's the first day of the rest of my life, and I can live healthier, and I can feel better and more fit, and I can move into that new position. I can move forward with that. I might have to take another skill, do something different, but it's all mine. It's mine for the taking. Your mindset is absolutely everything. And when you start believing in it and you start thinking you can do it, there isn't anything that you can't do. So you get to choose your direction. You get to choose your attitude. You get to choose how you get to grow. Life is hard and there's not many things you're in control of. But when you wake up every morning and you think, I'm in control of me, I get to choose how this day is going. I get to choose how I live this day. That is so powerful. And that's what begins your day. That's how you step one foot in front of the other, going forward until you're almost running. So that's what we really want to think about, is how you get to choose what you're going to be doing. So do you want to choose to start a new project, choose going back to school, choose changing careers, choose coming into your desired weight, whatever you want to do, you are in charge of you. And when you put the mindset that anything is possible, and when you put the mindset that you can do this, you are strong enough, you are powerful enough, good things happen. So fear is what stops us, right? Fear. And I know we were talking to Lori earlier, and she set her fear aside and started a whole new career. She felt that she was stronger and better and ready to go forward. And I love that, because not everybody has that courage. But you chose to embrace it and move forward and just run with it. And that's what's so exciting. When you take it on yourself and you're willing to choose the positive, choose to propel yourself forward, that's what makes all the difference in the world. So congratulations on that. And I hope more people are out there. I know Aaron has chosen to find a new place and chosen to get his new direction. Great movements, but it comes from within, it comes in your head, but you are in control of you. You truly are. And so there's that big, what if I fail? What if it just doesn't work out? What if I don't get what I wanted? Well, you know what? That is defeatist attitude, and you've got to put that fear aside. You've just got to let that fear go and make yourself from that positive light that you can do anything you want to. I know we're kind of everything right now and quick, and it doesn't work that way. But you keep moving one foot in front of the other, and you keep seeing that goal, whether it's a healthier weight, you want to get off your medications, whatever it is, you can do it. You just have to keep putting that, you just look for the gold lining, and you're going to find that there. So has COVID-19 stopped you or forced you to change something that you wanted to do? For a lot of us, it has. That's the presentations. I never thought I was going to be doing all these presentations on Zoom. Mine are live. Mine are interactive. I go on location. That's part of the personality. That's part of the presentation. That's part of the reason that people bring me into the company, because they get that live spirit. They get that interactive. They get that energy, that motivation. I touch everybody in the room. We talk. We exchange. So when all of a sudden I can't go in and talk to people and work with people, I had to change. I had to figure something different out that would work. And suddenly this non-techie person figured out how to put these presentations virtually and go in and speak to people virtually and still try to engage them in the conversation and still try to make it interesting and exciting. So what changed for you? What did you have to do in your company? How did you pivot? We all had to pivot somehow, right? And that's what leaders do. Leaders in life pivot. You're working from home. You're figuring out where your new office is. For some of us, it's I'm lucky I have a room, but for some of us, it's a kitchen table and it's quiet time. How did you pivot? Where are the kids? They're not in school and it's summer, but how did you pivot? How did you make it work? Did you say yes and embrace the change and make it happen? How was your attitude? How did you change? What you tell yourself is where you get your strength. If you let the negativity and the downside of what's happening take you over, or what other people say, when people tell you can't do it, Terri, you can't do your presentations. If you can't go live, you can't do them. It won't work. Oh, well, that's the end of me, right?
We had we were pivoting so much as this, I think the first month and a half of COVID, there was so much pivoting going on that we felt like we were in ballet, right? I mean, it was like all we were doing was, it was like we were twirling, we weren't pivoting. And, the stories that have been coming out of it from so many of the members within Ambassadors for Business are very similar. I think there were many people that just kind of huddled up and didn't do a whole lot, but the leaders, which is a lot of what we have within our organization, were very busy testing the waters and figuring out, how can we survive this and even thrive through this? And I've got many, many stories. I mean, of course, depending on the industry, there might be some things that you just can't really do a whole lot about it. You might have to almost completely change what you were doing. Maybe what you had doesn't resonate anymore, isn't available anymore, and you can't execute on it. So you got to do something completely new. But literally, people viewed it as, hey, it's a new opportunity versus this is going to just kill my business. Well, it's an opportunity to try new things. I've always wanted to try this. I'm going to give this a whirl and see how that goes. It looks like there's an opportunity here. And by and large, I think there's a lot of really good stories that have come out of it. Certainly there's struggles, not saying that it's not hard. But We have a pretty positive mindset going on throughout this entire organization, I believe. And, a lot of that's because we put our hope in him. And regardless of what happens, we have God. And that's all that matters, right? So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's absolutely true, Bob. We do have to learn to pivot. We do have to learn what we can do to make changes. And I love your ballet. Sometimes that is exactly what it is. You're just changing. Yeah, but it works. And, forever looking at the positive and forever with that half full glass. Okay, that piece of that worked. So how am I going to make that better and stronger and keep moving forward? We all need, in between this ballet act, I'm going to remind you to stay centered, to get centered. So sometimes we're moving so fast and we're running so hard and so far that we forget about that. And I'm just going to ask us just for a quick moment here to pause and get centered so we can continue and continue to be engaged in the rest of this conversation, this presentation, and have our minds open and our hearts open to participate and share. So when you need this is just a quick breathing technique. You can do it anytime, anywhere. Only takes a minute. We're going to do it 3 different times. You're going to breathe in for the count of 5 and breathe out for the count of 5. Bob, I have another one that I enjoy doing at the end, but I've decided to try and incorporate this in the middle. And so I'm gonna do it with us, and we're all just gonna just take a pause, regroup, and come back to center. So everyone just want to relax, kind of shake your shoulders down a little bit. We're going to breathe in deep for 5 and then let it out for 5. There's no holding, it's breathing in and out, and we'll do it 3 times. So just relax your shoulders and breathe in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 2, 3, 4, 5. In. Out. In. Out. And so as you practice this, whenever you're pivoting so hard and so fast and getting so confused and I'm not sure which way to go, take just those few moments, didn't take long, and all of us have a different depth of inhale. So you might count slower and exhale slower, but not knowing where everybody's at, I try not to have people hold their breath too long because you just never know. And but you'll find your pace. You'll find your right counting when you do it often enough. But that's what's going to help us when you're out there doing the ballet in the middle of what you're trying to accomplish. But remember that your attitude is everything. You have to keep that attitude where it needs to be. And it can change your life. If you have a positive attitude and a positive outlook, it can be so impactful. And we have to remember that. We have to remember to stay positive. And no, I don't wake up positive every single day. I don't think every moment of my life is the best it can be. But you know what? You take that pause and get back and get in your own head and change that thought process around again. And just remember that you are in control of the direction of your life. You are in control of your well-being, emotionally, physically, mentally, spiritually. It is you. So take that pause and get what's going on between the ears in alignment and get back to being positive and find the time for those sorts of things. I can't say enough. I don't, if we talked about it here earlier, I'm not sure, but I can't say enough about getting outside. If you can find 10 to 15 minutes to get outside, enjoy the fresh air or enjoy Mother Earth, 10 to 15 minutes just to get that break, that's moving your body. So you're getting that activity in, giving yourself some time, mentally to just take a break from sitting at that desk. Emotionally, you can just let go and just be you. And spiritually, it can be those moments that you take to give it to a higher power. Just to be thankful for your day and give that gratitude. Have your gratitude attitude, 10 to 15 minutes. And once you start finding that time, you're going to find that you're going to miss it if you don't take it. We all have 10 or 15 minutes. I know some days it doesn't seem like it, but we do. And right now you put on, you know, you're working from home. Some of us are back to the office, which is great. Put on your shoes and go outside for 10 or 15 minutes. Just get away from the desk. Go breathe in that fresh air. And even in the winter time, here in Minnesota, it gets brisk. You know what? I keep all my layers right by my front door, and I can just bundle up real quick and get outside. So 10 or 15 minutes, it adds up. Look at the activity. It adds up. I put some stats down there for us stat keepers. But even if it's just 10 or 15 minutes, it does make a difference, both, you know, spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So get out there and move that body. So your reality. What's a negative thought that you tend to dwell on that holds you back from getting what you really want? I'm not good enough. I'm an imposter. Everybody else knows more than I do. Why would anybody listen to me? I haven't been doing this as long as everybody else. I don't look as good as everybody else. I mean, what is that negative thought that just sits there and grinds, that tells you that you're not good enough and you can't be successful at what you're doing and where you're going? You know, again, I've always been this way. I can never change that. I've always had high blood pressure. Nothing about that's going to change. I mean, what is that negative thought? You're telling yourself that, you're feeding yourself this information. This is inner thoughts going on. This isn't necessarily the reality of anything. This is just those inner thoughts that keep you from being the best person you are. I always tell people in coaching, sometimes you're walking down the hallway, you're walking down the street, and all of a sudden you're thinking, oh my gosh, here comes this person, and they're thinking, oh, her hair is just terrible, or why in the world is she wearing that shirt? It's And the truth of the matter is, nobody has that kind of time to spend thinking about you. They're busy thinking about themselves, just like you are. So, you know, get rid of those self-imposed thoughts that you have in your head. Just let them go. They don't belong there. And, you know, start thinking positive, because your thoughts become your reality. It's so true. I know we've talked about that, but it's so true. So when you start thinking, look at me outside getting some activity in, you know, then you walk a little prouder, your head's a little higher. Look at me taking a course to propel my future. Again, how do you perceive yourself? How do others perceive you? It's what you project. So if you are stuck and it doesn't seem to be working for you, get a trusted friend, get a group of people together and work on that. I know we talk about our networking groups and our micro networking groups. So sometimes if you have a vision, and it could be, I'd like to lose 10 pounds, 50 pounds, 100 pounds, whatever it is, talk to the people that you know will support you in that endeavor. Talk to the people that will be your cheerleaders, your coaches, you can do this, way to go, great idea, I think you're amazing. Share your goals, say them out loud so that you can create some cheerleaders around you. For your business, I know we've got different people doing different things, realtors or, you know, coaches, leaders in their industry, growing teams. Share that, you know, sit down and go, I want to, you know, sell, I don't know, 15 houses by the end of the year. I want to grow 3 more locations by the end of the year. I want to, you know, share that vision, put it into action. Then when you're talking to others, they can support you in that. So, you know, don't keep the best of you to yourself. Share it with others so that they can help you get what you want. What's your motivation? What's your word? You can have, you know, we talk about different sticky backs, mantras, you know, stickers, stars, you know, whatever works for you. Pick a word, you know, what is, and it could be the word of the year. It could be the word of the month, the word of the week, maybe the word of the day, depending on how things are going. So what word, if you had to pick a word that's going to help being personally and or what would that word be? That's a thinker. So, so there's some down there, my words kind of change from time to time. Sometimes, just short cheer. Cheerleader, cheer others on, be cheerful. And I try to start my day and work at that. And when things get overwhelming, cheer. What is that? So sometimes I need to take a pause, take a breath, pick up the phone, call somebody and say, kind of at a moment here, to have them cheer me on. Sometimes it's joy. Joy is a big word. Just be joyful. I'm going to have joy in my life today. Oh, that doesn't bring me joy. So I'm going to throw it out, right? Oh, that's Marie, right? Oh, I forget her name now. But, it doesn't bring you joy. Look at your clothes. And if it doesn't bring you joy, throw it out. Look at the objects in the room. They don't bring you joy. It's time to get rid of them. So that's been kind of a big word a lot of people use too. And it's a great word. I love courageous. I'm going to be courageous this year. I'm going to fight all the negative demons that are out there from this horrible disease that is overtaken us right now, and the divisiveness that is amongst us right now. And I'm going to be courageous. And every day I'm going to attack it with courage and do the best I can. So pick a word. If you don't have a word, does anybody have a word right now that they could share with me?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. And what does that do for you? How does that motivate you?
Just to keep striving even when I don't feel like it or don't think I can do it. Know that I need to keep working at it.
That's a powerful word. Do you have that on your computer or mirror or someplace that you can?
It's in my Bible, just a page in my Bible like a paper that I've stuck in there and refer to that frequently.
Perfect. Yeah, perseverance is important. Yeah. Bob, did you have a word?
Yeah, well, I've been playing around with it for a while, abide or abiding. And it goes into this whole thing about striving to abide and how those words are so different, striving and abiding, right? They're complete opposites of one another, but pointing my striving at abiding, and I've got a chance at doing that. The other thing, I just love the fruit of the Spirit. And so there you get 9 words. Well, it's actually 10 because the last one is self-control. But, if you run through those words and use those to really measure yourself as to how you're doing with your walk in faith, I think, it really helps to create that mindset that you're talking about. So love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. If we're exuding that, we're probably, a shining light for many to see and latch onto in these troubled times.
Yeah, I love that. You could do a frame around your laptop with those words, and how freeing would that? I mean, that is motivation.
My screensaver. It's my screensaver. I'll share a view of it when you wrap up. But yeah, I mean, it's I'll send you guys the image if you want to make it your screensaver every once in a while. I love it. So
I would love that.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah. It just says it all right there. So for some of us, we have a word. But if you're Bob, you have multiple words. And that's great. That's great. But it's the thing that helps you stay centered, helps motivate you to keep moving on and keep being your best self and sharing your best self with others. Because when you're your best self, you bring out the best in other people. When you expect the best from other people and that happiness and that joy and that cheerfulness and all those things, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you'll get. If you're looking for negative things, that's what you get. So again, get between your ears and tell yourself you want to see the best in others. And by doing that, you have to exude the best in yourself. So habits, what are habits? That's a subtle or regular tendency or practice, especially one that's hard to give up. So what tendencies or practices are holding us back? What are our bad habits that are keeping us from moving forward? And how can we change that? And again, we'll liken it to, if your morning greets you with 3 donuts and a milkshake, well, that's probably why things aren't going as well for you. So, but that's your habit, right? So sometimes you just need to make some of those small changes in that habit. And we'll start with one donut and no milkshake. Small steps. I'm not taking everything away. I'm a believer in encouragement, not discouragement. So, we have to make those small changes. But what habits, what practices are you doing that are getting in your way from being your best self? And there are times when you have the answer, you know the answer, you know where you're going. But there are two different ways to look at it, the positive and the negative. And again, with that half glass full, half empty concept. So personally, gosh, I'd like to eat better. I'd like to cook healthier, but I just don't have the time for that. What about, hey, I'd like to eat healthier. When am I going to squeeze that in? Where am I going to schedule that in my day for shopping and meal planning? Or is there someone else that can help me? Who else can help with this? If you've got, I have lots of friends that have kids that are, 9, 10 and on up, and they're responsible for planning meals. They get a meal once a week. It doesn't have to be one person's job. So open your mind to what other things can be happening. Professionally, oh my gosh, the sales are down. COVID has just struck us down. I don't know what we're going to do. Or, hey, let's start contacting other people. Let's grow our client list. Let's reach out to, I've never had this much time to reach out to other people before. Now I've got the time to put those seeds, plant those seeds for that future business. So it's all in perspective and how you're going to look at it. How are you going to get your mind around all those things? So the small, as a lot of you know that have known me, small steps equal big changes. And that's how you need to look at life. And this is a book I recommend all the time, Younger Next Year. I have a copy of it right here. It's fabulous. A doctor and a retired, I believe, an attorney wrote these books together. And it's all about, you can actually feel younger next year when you start working at these small changes one at a time. Fantastic, realistic. The doc obviously speaks to the science behind all of it. The other guy, he's older and retired, and he's living through it. And, I encourage you to think one small step at a time and look into the future. Where am I going to be a year from now by making these small steps? It might not seem like you're making these big accomplishments right now, but a year from now, you look back and go, oh my gosh, look where I came from. Look where oh wow, this is amazing. But if you don't start, you can't end, right? If you don't know where you're going, you have no direction. So think about the little things that you can do to get yourself there and take your mind a little bit further. No, you're not going to lose 10 pounds in a day. No, you're not going to change your career by, showing up in a different outfit. It takes patience, and I love this, and some humor. Sometimes it takes a lot of humor for you to make those changes that you want. So you can read the screen. There's a lot of information on that too, but it's just you have to change the way you're thinking about things one small step at a time. So another way I love this in the leadership world. When COVID hit, and we had such a, it was a big deal. I mean, no doubt it's a big deal. And some of us just went into anxiety mode. We shut down. We didn't know what to do. We retreated into ourselves. We stopped talking to people. People's salaries got cut. Incentives all disappeared. People were let go. It was paralyzing. It was just absolutely paralyzing. And they're just shivering and, okay, I'll give you a little bit of time for that, but but I don't want you to wallow. I don't suffer wallowing well myself. I don't want you to wallow for very long. So the people who are really taking off, the people who are really rising up to the top of this are the people who became expert listeners to their staff, their coworkers, the people they surround themselves with. They became expert listeners. And so they heard or watched what was going on around them, and they changed it into the narrative of how they wanted their staff, their employees, their friends, their family to experience it. If, as a leader, if you don't take charge, if you don't make those mindset changes, it can be chaos out there because everybody's sharing their panic and their insecurities. And as a leader, it's whether the leader in the home, the leader in the job, the leader in the neighborhood, the networking group, whatever it is, you have to understand and listen to what people are saying and what's frightening them, and then help change the narrative of it, help change the way they view it, because you're a strong leader and you're the person that they're going to count on. You're the trusted leader. You're the person that people put all their eggs in the basket of, and they'll follow you because you're strong. If you act anxious and like you don't know what's going to happen, your tribe isn't going to follow you anywhere. So I'm a strong and trusted leader. Follow me. This is the direction that we're going. I don't want to say fake it till you make it. I don't, that sometimes that works out, but mostly, spend some time. How am I going to present this information? How am I going to make this look? Because your people are counting on you for just that. So start with something simple. We can't, I love the 80-20 rule. I just got back on vacation. And I always say, if you take care 80% of the time, you get 20% to play with. That goes in your work as well as your life at home. I make good healthy choices to get 80% of the time. And so then when you have that morning donut, which I do not suggest, you've saved up the time for that because you did such a good job 80% of the time. And if you have a target date, something needs to be done, and whether you've got an event coming up and you need to get healthier for that, you've got a deadline coming up, so you need to really grind it out more solid this time, then maybe it's a 90-10 rule. But don't box yourself in so tight that you can't enjoy life. That causes burnout. And then we get off track, and then we let it go, and then we don't want to do it anymore. So you do need to reward yourself, some of the time, and pat yourself on the back and enjoy the changes as they went on, and celebrate the wins, but don't give up everything, because that just never works out very well in the end. And pretty soon it's burnout and the hands are in the air and I'm just done. So stick with something simple. It takes, 30 days to change a habit. It depends on the person. It depends on the habit. But as I've talked about this COVID-19, people are changing their habits and they don't know it. You're probably sitting more. You're definitely hitting the refrigerator more. I've worked with more clients right now on how do I, stop. Everything's so handy. I'm bored. I'm stuck in what I'm doing at work. I have a moment. I just need to think it through. So they get up and they walk into the kitchen and start in the pantry and pulling open the cupboards and the drawers of that secret candy drawer. And, the weight gain starts on. I mean, you've got to change the habit. You've got to be aware of what you're doing. And, so get rid of the candy drawer and make sure you've got that fresh fruit bowl out. Small change, maximum results. So then when you go for that snack, you're grabbing that orange and not that Snicker bar. So, and for those of us, I have in here, if you haven't spent time with your team, professional team, family as a team, we need to schedule time out. Have that, weekly team meeting, whether it's your family or your office. And it doesn't have to be about, you always need to keep everybody abreast on the direction that you're heading. But don't forget to spend time understanding who they are and what they're doing, what's going on in their life. If you want a strong group of people, you have to have them trust in you. And how do you gain trust? You gain trust by caring. So when you're having that family meeting, so what's new? What's going on with you? What changes are you going through right now? Hey, Bob, I heard your grandson was off playing, quality lacrosse. How did that game go? Check in with people, right? It's important that when we have our team meeting that you feel valued when I say, hey, what's going on with your grandson? Hey, how's things going right now with the showings? It's more than just a work business relationship. You need to put the personal relationship in there too, so that your team knows that you're listening, you're paying attention, and you care about them too. So those small changes, those baby steps, I have to have it now, right? Our baby steps don't allow, I have to have it now. Our baby steps allow one small thing at a time. You know, you had to learn to crawl. You had to learn to walk long before you learned to run. So it's those small changes one at a time that are going to get you where you're going. You just have to have the patience and trust in the process and know you're going to get there by staying in that mindset that this is how this works. And don't forget to write those little wins down, those little accomplishments. This is what worked well. This is what hit. So when you get stuck again, you can go back to that. So let's think about a habit that you can change. And I see people with pen and paper. So yeah, write down those habits that you can change. Need some ideas? Here's some ideas. How to exchange some of those small habits, getting into your health and wellness. I have to bring this back in because I'm the health and wellness person. So we have to talk about how you change what you're fueling your body with that makes your body tick like it's supposed to be. These are transformational, lifelong changes that we're talking about here. And by drinking water instead of those sodas, and diet sodas, not particularly good for you. Everybody knows sugar is the devil, very addictive substance. It's in everything. And even the diet drinks, that still gets you on that sweet high. And then you're ingesting things that aren't good for you. So you can't eat it if you don't have it. So get those vegetables, get those fruits, reduce your stress, do that breathing technique. See if it's a small change. Those 3 breaths of 5 in, 5 out, small change, but that's going to help you with some of your stress level. So if you can believe in a change, you're going to get there. Start small. It might not seem like it's going to work out, but it is going to work out. The power of a habit. If you believe you can change, if you make it a habit, the change becomes real. This is the real power of habit. The insight that your habits are what you choose them to be. Once that choice occurs and becomes automatic, it's not only real, it starts to seem inevitable. The way we habitually think of our surroundings and ourselves create the world that each of us inhabit. And a lot of times when I'm working with my clients and doing presentations, I say, write down 3 things that when I ask you, how do you think about you? What do you think about you? Write down 3 things that you think about you. Write down 3 things that your friends or coworkers think about you. Write down 3 things you wish people thought about you. And when you start changing your habits, when you start feeling in control and strong and fit and healthy and a good leader, you're going to find that the things that you want people to think about you are the things that they're thinking about you, because you're living an authentic life. You are treating yourself the way you get one body, people, one body in this entire lifetime, one life to live. So live the best life. And when you need to make a change, when you need to pivot, this is a good time for it, because today is the first day of the rest of your life. Everything back there, gone. So moving forward. So what is the habit that you're going to change this month? As you're writing down on a piece of paper, or take a picture of the screen so that you can do it later when you have a chance to really think things over and percolate with it in your mind. And what's something that you've been afraid of doing? And why? What are the reasons for that? So don't let your self-doubt get in the way. You're stronger than that. You can make it happen. Paralysis by analysis, don't sit and think about things too long. Then what am I going to do? Just do it. Just take that first step and just do it. You've got this. I know you've got this. So get out of your own way. Go forward. Go strong. Take on the change. Motivate your team. When you're motivating yourself and you're starting to own those skills, you're going to be able to share those with your teams. You're going to be able to help them realize their dreams as well. You're going to be able to help them build their own coaching tools with each other, because now they feel strong. They know the value of the company. They know the value of where you're coming from. And so they're going to be able to lift each other up. It's not always just up to one person. Well, except for God, of course. But I mean, in your company and in your family, we have to learn to count and depend on each other. And when we get those words out there, when we get them thinking in the right direction, moving forward, they're going to want to share that message with one another. as well. So be a strong leader and go forward. So if you could remove fear, what would you do? Set a date. You know, it's not just, I want to learn to ride a bike, right? It's, I will learn to ride a bike by September 1st. Now you have a goal that you're going towards. You need to be going towards something. What are you going to do? How are you going to do it? How are you going to shift your mindset? Your self-talk. How important is self-talk, right? Be kind to yourself. You are your best friend. When you have some of those thoughts going through your head, would you say that to your best friend? Heavens no, and you deserve better than that. So change your self-talk, be positive, be courageous, and share those best pieces of you. So change your mindset, change your habits, change everything. Everything will follow. And yeah, that's a picture of me doing Ragnar. And for those of you who don't know what that is, that's a lot of running for a long period of time over like a 36-hour period with a team. So very exciting, one and done, but I never thought in my lifetime that that would be something I would do. And I was so excited about it. So change your mindset, you know, instead of never do that, can't do that, never going to happen, set a goal, went for it, achieved it, and the smile says it all. So you can do this. So list of things to do as we're wrapping up here. Look ahead. What are you going to say that you've accomplished? You know, you don't want to be 80 and look back and go, well, I should have. You know, look ahead. What do you want to say you've accomplished? Write it down. Pick out some things that you want to do. Choose that one word, or in Bob's case, a frame full. And write down the new habits and how you want to change, and write down your plan. And it's always good to read one personal development book. And if you don't know which one to read, this is a good one. Younger Next Year. But we all have different things that we want to do and figure out. So with that, I shall close. This is my big promotional part I was telling you about when we first started in. These are some of the things that I do. I would love to work with you one-on-one. I would love to come to your company and do some programming for you and help you and your employees become healthier and happier and become that family work unit that gets them to stick around, get less sick days, and put your company face forward, because they are your best advertising. I do workshops, but you know, the latest and greatest thing that I'm doing is, if you aren't a person who can walk this alone, you don't have time, you don't have the energy, you don't know where to start, you want the fast track to good health, I can now bring that to you for the same amount of, you know, having me come in and coach. So give me a call if I can help you out. Terri at beginning-today.com, and it's on the AFB website.